Hey friends, Dr. McFarland here. Thank you so much for your support, for your membership, and also subscribing and answering my poll questions. And that leads us to today. You guys wanted to know my favorite toothpaste. Since I am a board certified pediatric dentist and a mom of young kids who have struggled with toothbrushing, which by the way, that's why I made my course. If you are struggling in your toddler mom era with toothbrushing, I got you with that little course. It is hours of information to help you just comprehensively manage your child's dental care, but especially 2 whole sections dedicated to toothbrushing struggles and tantrums. I got you. But anyway, that was a tangent, and we're going to talk kids toothpaste today, and I'm going to help you figure out which one might work best for your family and share with you what my kids love and like to use every day. To start, we'll just talk about what is available readily in brick and mortar stores. Same thing for adult toothpaste. What is cheapest and easiest to find, and what do most kids like? Crest Sparkle Fun is one. You can't go wrong. It's sparkly, tastes like bubblegum-ish. And then Tom's of Maine Strawberry, that helps a lot of kids who are sensitive to things like this and they don't like it. A lot of kids really like this one. They have other fun flavors too. Just be sure you're grabbing one that is fluoridated. The one downside of toothpaste in grocery stores, a lot of times they're not specialized in that they have sodium lauryl sulfate still. Now, sodium lauryl sulfate is not a bad guy. It is not like the chemical of the month to be scared of. I am not that type of creator. I do not go into fear mongering and chemical and toxins, all that stuff. No, but sodium lauryl sulfate, some people are sensitive to it. They don't have an allergy to it, but they're sensitive to it and they might feel like toothpaste burns or is spicy, or they can even get frequent mouth ulcers from exposure to that foaming agent, SLS. It's in most over-the-counter toothpaste. It's in these. So if you want to try and find an SLS-free toothpaste, your best bet for kids flavors is going to be Hello. Thankfully, Hello has become more popular and is now carried, I believe, in Target. You can also find it on Amazon, but I really like their kid-friendly flavors and they are free of SLS. So Hello Dragon Dazzle Blue Raspberry is my kid's favorite, and then strawberry, you also can't go wrong. I've kept this one in the box because I want to show people the kids age 2+. So the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry recommends that kids from the time their first tooth comes in around 6 months through turning 3, so all of age 2, they use a grain of rice size amount of fluoride toothpaste. So that is just the white part of your pinky nail amount of toothpaste. And not a long grain, but a jasmine grain of rice is what I jokingly tell people on social media. But they want them under age 2. Since 2014, they changed that recommendation to include fluoride toothpaste for young children. And that surprises people, even dentists, because they're not up to date with the guideline that has almost a decade ago now been changed. It used to say no fluoride under 2, but cavity risk in the US in these young kids is so severe, and what we saw is that ones with cavities at this young of an age were requiring extensive dental treatment to be done under general anesthesia in the hospital. And so that small risk of ingestion of fluoride, especially too much fluoride at a young age, was far outweighed by the risk posed by anesthesia being done at a young age for dental surgery. And the risk with fluoride ingestion is not all the scary stuff that you see about toxins and brain impacts. These are small doses, especially when you're using that grain of rice size amount, even if they're swallowing it. If they had too much, the greatest risk is of something called fluorosis, where they'll get little white flecks in their permanent teeth, but that's still with much more ingestion. You're looking at maybe excess exposure from being formula fed and having fluoride water used to reconstitute that powdered formula, something like that. So when you have a young child, you can talk to your pediatric dentist about your unique exposure level to fluoride as a family and for your child, but by and large, the official recommendation of the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry is that kids of all ages use fluoride toothpaste in appropriate amounts. And so under age 3, it's that grain of rice size. And that's why this is confusing. It says age 2+, and people are like, what? I think it's just CYA on the part of toothpaste companies, and they're also outdated still. The old recommendation used to be under age 2, they didn't use it. So I think it's just outdated, but it says children under age 2, consult your physician or your dentist. And your dentist is going to tell you if they're up to date with the AAPD guidelines, and depending on your child's overall fluoride exposure, which most kids is not quite optimal, that they can use this fluoride toothpaste. So don't let the box scare you if it says age 2+. If you're using the appropriate amount as recommended by the AAPD, you're fine. Now I'm going to share with you my kids' favorite toothpaste. You cannot find it on the shelves. It is through Amazon or through their own website, but it's called Tanner's Tasty Paste. It's also SLS free, but it has one of the best flavors I have ever tried, and my kids love it. Their vanilla bling, it literally tastes like cake icing, like buttercream frosting. It's so good. They've also got a chocolate one that tastes like a Tootsie Roll, and they have an orange cream one that tastes like a dreamsicle. So all 3, you can't go wrong. Really, really great and not that expensive. So I really recommend Tanner's Tasty Paste. It is my go-to for kids that are flavor averse. It's also a smooth texture. It's not very gritty. So I really like Tanner's. You can find that. I'll link all of these down below through my Amazon shop so you can find them easily. Another option for flavor or texture averse kids is an unflavored toothpaste. So there's one based out of Europe called Oranurse. You're going to notice that its fluoride concentration is a little bit higher. In the United States, all toothpaste, whether adult or kids, they're all 1,100 parts per million of fluoride. This one is 1,450. So you may want to use a little bit lower amount or a smaller amount depending on your child's age, proportional to, it's like half 1.5 versus 1 of ours. But Oranurse is unflavored. The trouble is its texture is a bit gritty and it's not very sweet, which some kids don't want it to be sweet at all. If the grittiness is the problem, not the sweetness, you can try Dr. Bob. So Dr. Bob is sweetened with xylitol. It is also SLS free. It contains fluoride at the normal level, 1100 part per million here in the US. It is smoother, it's not gritty, but it is sweeter than Oranurse. But these two are good bets for someone that is flavor averse, that really struggles with toothpaste. It also doesn't have SLS, so it's not going to be foamy. So for kids that don't like that foam or they're sensitive to it, you can try those. And then lastly, if you've got an older child, usually age 6+ that's high risk for cavities, your dentist may talk to you about a prescription toothpaste. One that we sell in our office is called Just Right 5000. The reason I like it more than ClinPro or Prevident, even though those are also great, is it has a pumping dispensing system. So especially for a child that's a little bit younger, so they're not 12+, they're not in braces, but they're like 6, 7, I want to be sure they're dispensing the right amount. And this little pump system makes it so that they're only going to be putting that little pea-sized amount on their toothbrush. We should, as parents, be supervising their brushing up to and maybe even through age 7 to make sure they're effective. So we should be helping them ideally, right? But this is going to help minimize any exposure to too much fluoride on their part with that little pump. Because again, fluoride is safe in recommended doses and amounts. And I want them to be keeping the pea-size recommended dose and amount. For a prescription toothpaste, so over the counter is 1100 parts per million. Prescription is 5000 parts per million, Just Right. And the best part about this one, it comes in a candy apple flavor too. And kids love that. Like they snatch that up in our office. It is so good. And finally, I know that some people are fluoride hesitant. I'm not judging. I think it is safe. I've looked at the research. My kids use it. I use it. But if you don't want to use fluoride toothpaste, that is okay. I want you to use something that is safe, that is produced by a reputable company, that has kind of a good track record. It's not just some random Etsy shop making something tooth powder out of bentonite clay and crushed up bones and who knows what else. Like, you want to be sure it's a company that's using regulated ingredients. And then the two things that are fluoride free that have some modicum of evidence to support them. Of course, xylitol, we know that's helpful, although that's not going to work in the sense of remineralizing or preventing cavities. Xylitol works by targeting the bacteria with frequent use, and we don't know if toothbrushing alone is frequent enough. Like, we see the benefits of xylitol more in bubblegum chewing and like frequency, like 5 to 6 times a day. But xylitol helps impact cavity-causing bacteria, make them less sticky, make them less aggressive. We don't know if that's from toothpaste really, but xylitol tastes good and whatever, it's sugar-free. Just be careful if you have dogs and xylitol toothpaste. Xylitol can make them sick. If they ingest it, they can even die if they ingest too much. So caution with xylitol. But the other two ingredients are hydroxyapatite and Rennou, which is something based on theobromine from chocolate. Hydroxyapatite has the most research probably to support it. Theobromine, even less. The Rennou, even less. Both seem to work. The hydroxyapatite, the evidence is not so much about cavity prevention as it is about occluding dentin tubules, so making it less sensitive. So you have in your tooth layers enamel on the outside, dentin in the middle, and your pulp, the nerve, on the inside. The dentin has little pores in it that run from the inside to the outside. And if you get exposed dentin from either a cavity that's gone through or from brushing too aggressively and you've got exposed root or exposed the yellow part of the tooth, where you can get gum recession and have sensitivity, those open tubules transmit osmolarity differences, so like sweet, salty, hot, cold, to the nerve, and they can hurt. So if you block off those tubules with like potassium nitrate in Sensodyne, or in studies hydroxyapatite or Rennou, you're going to see that blockage reduce sensitivity. That's what most of the studies point to. They try to like equate that to cavity prevention, and it's just not really so. There are a few more with hydroxyapatite. Risewell has a few studies about cavity prevention, but it is not overwhelming. It's definitely not that it's superior to fluoride. If nothing else, with good hygiene practice, it's maybe comparable. So if you're going to go with anything, I would go with hydroxyapatite from a reputable company. The one that I like and recommend is Risewell, but I'll say for both these companies, Risewell, and then the other one with Rennou is Theodent. I do not like their fear-mongering type of marketing. So Risewell, I don't know if they still have this, but their verbiage on their toothpaste and their websites and stuff was like chemicals and toxins, and I just don't like that. I don't like fear-based marketing. Trying to scare people about fluoride would be the reason that they would buy this product. Like, you shouldn't buy these because you're afraid of fluoride. You should buy them because you're well informed about fluoride and you've just decided that you don't want to use them. But I don't know, that's a whole nother topic. But it's like, oh, it's as effective as chemical toothpaste, but without the toxins. Like, everything's a chemical. There are no toxins. So I don't know. Anyway, it just annoys me. And same thing, Theodent. You look on their website and they talk about fluoride being a poison, and it just annoys me. So if you really want to, I would would use these, or like seem to be more legitimate brands. But again, I don't endorse these. I want you to use a fluoride toothpaste. But if you're looking for something else, at least better than some random thing made on Etsy or making your own at home, I would try something like Theodent, Rennou. It does taste good. It's a chocolate chip flavor. It really does taste like chocolate chips. Risewell, they say kids love it. It is so sweet. Like when you talk about cake flavored, I much prefer the Tanner's Tasty Paste. This is like sickeningly sweet. But these you can go with if you wanted or had to do something fluoride free. But again, I encourage you, please don't be scared of fluoride in the appropriate doses and amounts. If you look at the NIH chart about treating it as an essential nutrient where you want a certain level for an effective cavity preventing effect, and then you don't want to exceed a certain level, the levels in toothpaste, these small amounts that they might be swallowing, even at a young age when you're using that grain of rice size amount, are considered safe. Did you know that fluoride is present in powdered infant formula? It's present in potatoes and carrots and chocolate. It's in a lot of things naturally, and so the dose matters. You cannot completely eliminate fluoride, but I'm going to stop going off on a tangent. Those are the toothpastes that I like. The ones my kids use every day are Tanner's Tasty Paste and Hello. I also like those when I was pregnant and nauseated and couldn't stand traditional mint toothpaste. I even use those kids' toothpaste. So adults can use them too. They have the same level of fluoride as adult toothpaste. At least in the US, it's 1,100 parts per million. But if I missed a toothpaste that you really like, let me know in the comments. If you've tried one of these, let me know what your favorite one is. And if you've got questions about something else, please let me know in the comments. I'll make it a part of my future poll, and then be sure to subscribe, maybe even join if you really want to get in the know about what's coming up next and have a say in the next topic for future videos. Thanks so much for being here, and check out what YouTube wants you to look at next.